All right. So, I've done quite a bit of research and looking and searching, and there's not a lot of information on these old Goliaths. You can find plenty for Borgward and some for Hansa, but particularly on YouTube, not a whole lot of information on these. So I just picked this one up a couple days ago. A very nice guy in Northeast America. And this one is a 57 or 58, not sure yet, Goliath Kombi 1100. And here you see we do have the flat 4. I am still doing some work on it. We do have it rotating. My project today was going to pull that starter off, but my uncle let me know that you do have to short out this little guy to negative, or positive, sorry, on the battery, because it's positive ground. And like yesterday, I could get the starter to turn, no problem, but putting a little juice to that sends out the little gear or pawl into the flywheel, and she'll actually turn. I've got good compression on these two cylinders. These two, there's some compression, but I think a lot of that is maybe valves are sticking open. This car did sit since 1982, so it's I'm sure she's a little sticky. But I wanted to point out some of the oddities, at least. Again, there's not a lot of videos or some writing, some old forums and stuff, but nothing crazy, nothing real helpful. There's no digital versions of the manual either, so you got to kind of buy a paper version, which I have. It's still in the mail though. So I'll start with the steering. This is an early rack and pinion steering system, manual of course. You see it's mounted way up here too, so that's kind of a rare sight for me, especially. I'm a Saab guy, so I'm used to weird, peculiar rarities, but this takes the cake. It is a mechanical clutch linkage as well. Of course, it's vintage. Let's have a little master cylinder here. Cute little guy. I don't know if those work yet. The clutch does work. And so does the throttle linkage and choke and all that stuff. So, look down. We'll kind of focus on this side of the engine for now. One of the other oddities I noticed, and I guess talking to my uncle, is similar with Volkswagen. That valve cover there is just snap-on. No bolts, no nothing. And then, unlike Subaru flat 4s, the plugs are pointing right up at the top, which is nice. If you ever work on a Subaru, you'll appreciate that. And moving over, took me a couple minutes to figure out what this guy was doing, but this is your oil fill / breather. So that mesh is there, just to, I assume, keep critters out from under there. Any positive crankcase ventilation or gases that come out of there, any oil vapor should precipitate and settle back down into the bottom. And then whatever is left, similar to old domestic V8s, the last one I worked on was a 292 Y block, a downdraft tube. It goes all the way down, and any gases shoot out the bottom of the vehicle, so you're not smelling them up in the cab, which is nice. Then I'll move this, so we're just jumping out the starter, because I don't have keys for this car either. We'll focus here real quick. Another kind of rarity for me. This guy here, which is your generator and water pump. And you can see there, get the camera in there. Sorry for the weird angles. Kind of a tight car. Yeah, that guy right there. That is a bleeder to kind of get air out of the system for your cooling system. It is still seized, but I keep soaking it in some Coroil. Little single pot Solex, I believe. I don't know the model yet. I do have a rebuild kit coming for them. So I assume this one's going to need a nice rebuild. But I got some good video on how it's supposed to be. I do have the glass out, but that is intact for the float. The pre-filter, not sure what you call that. Banjo fitting down all the way over here to the fuel pump itself. This little guy, that's the feed line from the tank, which is unhooked, thankfully. So I'm sure that tank is gross. This little guy here, you see on some of the nicer cars, that would have a large black accordion tube going up through here, and then coming right up to your heater core, I assume, and then that goes into the cab and goes into that little white box that's sitting on the passenger floor. I don't know if that was standard or those were optional. I know on my 54, which doesn't look like much right now, but that was an option. You had to option for it. Thankfully that one has it. Another rarity, or oddity in my world anyways, the single leaf spring. I know they have a name for those, but I can't think of it right now. Again, this is really my first early German car. Fun fact with these, they use a lot of Volkswagen parts. Headlights, turn lights. So, what else can we talk about up here? Alright, so, these are going to be our intake runners. So it comes in through the carb, goes down here. We'll ignore these pipes for right now, but this pipe here is going to be our main intake runner. That goes down into there, shared into the two ports. Duplicate on this side as well. Comes down, gets put in right there, and again shared with the two ports. Those secondary tubes there, you notice they connect to the exhaust pipe. Those are going to be heat risers, essentially. That travels, gets some hot gas from the exhaust all the way up, and that is going to circulate right in from here to here, and that circulates around the bottom. Gets this carb nice and warm, especially for those cold New England days. Little side note, this car was last registered and probably sold and spent all of its life in Massachusetts in 1982. Last registered in 1982. So it has sat for 40 some odd years. I think someone's been in here as well, because when I pulled it out, there were new spark plugs. Definitely old champions, but if you can see, that spark plug is not, and if it has run, it hasn't run for long. That looks brand new. Also, that gap looks really, really short. I don't know about that. I might open her up when I go to fire it some more. Alright, so it is a 6-volt system. I don't know if I said that yet. Positive to ground. So then, what else? Other odd things are in here. Tiny little radiator there. Tiny little distributor. There's points. You get a tiny little rotor button there, and your point set up, condenser, and your distributor cap. And thankfully, I took the wires off. I haven't had them laying out like they're supposed to, but I probably moved them around since. So luckily, the firing order is right there, along with all the other information. So I'll go around. Our new tires, and I don't think the original wheels. Gentleman I bought it off from, when he bought it, it was just sitting on blocks. So I think he may have found these wheels and then had some new rubber put on them. Cool bit, all these body panels just unbolt, come right off, which I'm going to have to do to the rear on the other side. This is a big dent in it, same with this door. Shouldn't be too bad. It was a pain in the butt to open this door. It's probably been stuck for years and years. I did finally get it open. The hinges are not happy. You can see they're pretty rough, and this was filled with dirt and grime. I had to hit it with Croil and then give her a bunch of torch heat on the hinge area to get it freed up and opening like it does. These did have door cards when I got the car, but I had to take this one off to get this door open. So that's kind of what the lock mechanism looks like in there. I don't know if camera will see anything or not, but so this striker, or this latch here, so the door handle runs that. This little idiot was what was fetching us up too. So I think you're meant to put a key in, and then turn the key. That would suck this in, and then you can pull the door handle. I'm not sure. So I just don't close this door all the way. But see in the interior, fantastic seats in here though too. Great seats. So that's our view there. We do have one left. Doesn't really want to turn. Not terrible. There's a lot of gushy stuff in there. Look at that mirror. Still fine. Not even fogged up. That's fantastic. This dash too. I don't know. I know there's a lot of purists out there that don't care about patina, but this dash is beautiful, beautifully colored, just from the age. That was a ashtray there. Did not come with the car, which is fine. I'm probably going to put some form of Bluetooth receiver in here just to give it a little modern touch. So I have a radio. Big music guy. So here we have our fuel gauge. Shows res, in case you're not aware. This is something Saab used to do as well. That's reserve, kind of like a motorcycle. So if you ever look at like a Saab fuel gauge, that says like F, R, or something else. Yeah, usually it's R. Means full, and then reserve. So that's basically your empty, which gives you maybe a gallon. We've got a temperature gauge down here. The sender's all hooked up. We'll have to see if that works. Now, of course, a speedometer. Now, this does say this is only a five-digit readout. So let's say 50,000. Big piece of insulation down here, but usually I can tell the old vice grip garage method. Let's check out the pedals. See how worn they look. Be able to tell if that's 100,000 or 150,000 or actually 50,000. There's a fair bit of wear on here. I don't know. I don't plan on getting rid of this car, so I'm going to call it 50,000. Oh, that's stuck. Clutch just went there really nicely. This piece of insulation I'll have to get put back up. But down here, I assume this is our choke. Kind of wants to work. I'll have to spray it again. I don't know what this is. It's part of the heater controls. I'm not too sure. I assume this is fresh air ventilation. It must be. Again, it's froze. I gotta shoot some stuff up in there. Looking down, we have our e-brake. This works, kind of. I'm sure it's not connected to anything. And a little further below it, this is to adjust the seat. Of course, that's froze as well. Itty bitty little heater. Some new spark plugs. A little tiny heater. I don't know what this wire goes to. Yeah, we might have. So I was wondering if it had defrost or something. And it's looking like that might be a defrost. That goes up to the top. So that's cool. Oh, this is back of the heater box. Okay, so that is cold air intake. Because with the blower motor off, it would just be pulling cold air through that funnel in the front. All right, cool. I don't know what that wire is. Radio antenna, maybe? Well, this car wasn't optioned with a radio, so maybe not. You see, it's kind of, she's got some rust. Maybe that was a door light. There's no headliner in here, so I don't think there's any doors left. There is some wiring up over here, so maybe there was some door lights. I think I remember seeing videos or pictures of the interior, and there's like side lights. Check this out. This is cool. I wouldn't pull on it though. There's not much left of that. Alright, back over here. I have not figured out what most of these switches do. I don't have a key, so I'm going to pull this out and send it to a locksmith and have him recut a key for this cylinder. I don't know what this does. It does work. Heater controls, I think, some of these first ones. Wipers, this has got to be wipers. Like low, high, off. Not sure what that does. Oh, is this the lights? Yeah, I don't know. What's this do? Anyone know what that guy is? Right there? That one kind of does stuff. That one does stuff. So this is where I'm going to need a manual. Figure out what some of these buttons and switches do. They're all working now. I did spray them all down. Some of these were pretty seized, so it is nice they're working now. Steering wheels, and that's the only bad crack in here. Anyone know how to condition these? Like, can I save this? Is there any material or fluid I can soak these in, or just kind of lather it on and save this wheel? So it feels nice. I mean, it's thinner. Again, I'm used to domestic stuff, and Saab used to have kind of big, chunky. And when I say Saab, I mean like 70s, 80s Saabs. I've never owned any 96s or anything, but I've owned a lot of 99s and 900s. And a 90. Yeah, still nice there. Horn button, Goliath. Does not work. I'm disappointed. I really wanted to hear the horn. So I bet it's silly sounding. So we do have our gear shift lever here. So as I understand, I don't think it pulls all the way up because I think reverse is all the way back towards you and then up. But as it stands now, I pull it up. I got first, second, third, then fourth, and then I believe reverse is pull it all the way up. Yeah, it doesn't really want to go that far, so I'm gonna lubricate that some more. I assume these are blinkers, which is odd because it should be on that side in my head. But then I don't know what this guy does. Something to do with headlights? High beams, maybe? It only goes down. Only goes down. There's that. Oh, look at the rest of the car. Again, it's kind of a mess. No headliner. A little rough in here. I'm sure there was a lot of critters living here at some point. This door card from the driver's side. I'll tour around the back too. But let me know too if anyone is buying one of these cars. They want to know some more information. I do have a little bit of information. I'm learning more every day. I bet that guy goes there. Got these really odd German fuses that I'm not used to. Except with Saab stuff, of course. Saab uses this. My vintage. That's our door pop. That is seized. So I'm scared to close the hood all the way. I'm going to oil it some more. Yeah, that was fuse panel. And those poor hinges. There's a lot of crap sitting in here. A lot of detritus. A lot of rot. But no holes. No holes. It just kind of a lot of pine needles and stuff. This car obviously sat underneath a tree. You see the door, bottom of the doors. This is the worst rust on the car, is bottom of the door edges. A little bit on the back hatch as well. The window regulators are toasted in these doors too. So I'm going to have to figure that out at some point. My goal with this car is to just kind of get it running. I'm going to clean it up some, but I'm not going to fully restore it before I drive it because I want to drive something this summer. And I'll get it cleaned up and safe enough for the road and fix some of this rust and stuff and probably sand it down and put it in primer. But that's probably going to be the extent of it. Oh, another cool thing. Check out these lower seat pulls. These are beautiful. How long's my light been on? At least 2 days. Huh, all right. She's thin, but no holes. So yeah, there's probably a lot of mouse crap under there. But check this out. That's nice. Someone made that. Let's move this door card. Sorry for the bad filming angles. Those flip down. I got a bunch of spare parts and crap back there. But that's kind of what she looks like in there. These are meant to go. Oh, okay. Alright, I probably got to oil these seats. I don't think it's doing a lot of bending down here. That's right. A lot of lubricant. I bought 4 more cans today. I like to use Croil, but no one around me locally carries it. I have to order it from McMaster. It's cheaper than on Amazon with shipping. I find anyways, and at least I get it next day. But then we got some hard rust up here. Someone tried filling. I think it's a JB Weld. Someone tried, but I'm gonna have to figure out some seals. I'll pull these fenders off so you can see where they're bolted. They're simply bolted on there. I don't know how to wire around that one. So this fender is actually really nice. A little bit of rot down in the lower dog leg there, but that's nothing. Taillights, that's going to be a pain in the butt trying to find some taillights. If anyone happens to know what they're from, or if they're proprietary to the Goliath Hansa, I think Hansa's are even different because they discontinued the Goliath name, started building them under Goliath, I think in 58 or 59 year. They rebranded them as Hansas because they didn't want to confuse the Goliath name with the early Goliath from the 20s and 30s, 40s, the three-wheeled trucks, which are beautiful, by the way. Sassy looking trucks. But here's the rear hatch, AAA sticker. So you know it was an American car. License plate holes. Decent bumper. It's not terrible. Just kind of had a couple of bams here and there. Nice glass. Ooh, that's rough. Of course, no hitch back here. I just stick a screwdriver in there. I don't have one on me, or I would prop this open and show you the back. But I can assure you the back is solid. The original spare tire is still in there. And that whole assembly and tray down there is perfectly solid. Still has original factory paint to it. This is the crunchy fender, which again, it just unbolts. So I gotta pull it off. You see it's barely held on there. I probably just started the bolts on the inside, so I'm gonna pull that off and pound that dent out. It's not too bad. I do a lot of fab work, so that's small beans for me. I do need a fuel door. I don't know, maybe I find one. A little rough, but again, well, some fab work, some body work, not terrible. I got a welder and a grinder. Rocker panels are gone, but the way I understand it, they're non-structural. So just a simple box. Slap that together. Once again, I want to show the seats. Seats are, I mean, it's got some boo-boo areas, but seats are quite nice, and they're super comfortable. Holy crap! Yeah, that's the only boo-boo area. But I do have a friend whose wife does a lot of upholstery. She should be able to mend that. Back seats are decent too. Not all dry crocked and rotted. And I am going to treat these seats because they are dry. I was sitting in here with my knee and I noticed I was popping some of the stitches, so I'm gonna clean this. I don't know what to use other than Armor All just to get them wet again. I do have some crusty bits up here. This is kind of the worst of the cabin rot, especially back here, but again, I can slit up through here. I want to keep it low because I don't have anything to do this nice radius, but if I make it straight across all the way to there and kind of bring it down, I should be able to replace this. Yeah, no, I'm not really, at this time, not really equipped to do 100% restoration, but I'm going to do the best I can for now so that I can drive it around this summer and then do the fine touches over the next year or so, or maybe this winter. It will fit in my shop, being a smaller car, so I can put this right in the shop during the winter, get the wood stove running. I need a door handle too. Where I read it, those are 55 to 58 Volkswagen door handles. So I found some for 30 bucks. I'm going to buy a pair and see if it works. I don't know what the back hatch uses, so we'll figure that out when the day comes. Love that windshield. Just the tiniest little guy. There, we're back here. Neat little thing the previous owner was real excited about was this hood prop. So put it like that, and then it slides down. Goes all the way down. There she sits. I do have the headlights as well, and some more chrome for the mouth. But that is 1957-58 Goliath Kombi 1100. I'm gonna keep making some videos on it, some progress once it's get it running. The first fire off will be filmed as well. I'm just gonna do a little bit of work, take some more videos of doing that work and getting spark, stuff like that. And we'll go from there. Hey, found the keys. They're in the back in a box full of spare parts. Would you just look at that? Let's see, we've got a accessory position, off, ignition, start. Fantastic. Check out this thing here. I always like these. You never really see them. You're number one with us. Hickory Ridge Mobile Homes, Rockport, Maine. Was this car in Maine at some point? I wonder what all these other keys are. Some oddities on here. Wow, look at that pattern. That looks trippy through the camera. That's it's corrosion. That looks cool though, right? Alright. Yeah, there's that one. I don't know what that goes to. Get that out of the way. We have this one. Don't know. Alright. I have this one. Maybe that goes to a P.O. box or something. Maybe that's a hidden treasure chest. I'll let you know if I find clues to hidden treasure in this car. I think this was the ignition key. And, I don't know what that symbol is. All lock. And this guy here. Same logo. All lock. Maybe I have two keys to it. I don't know. Let's try one of these two. I got this one. That one works. Oh, no way. Do I have two keys? No. But I bet this one goes to the door. Oh, someone's been in there. Oh, yeah, that's messed up. Alright, well, that sucks. Couldn't have just found the keys in the back? Animals. Check this out. Darn. Not very fast. It is 6 volt. Oh, look, I got some lights. Oh, that's what that is. Alright, I figured it out. You don't have to tell me. Nothing else. Not even any smoke. Alright, well. Cool. Keys do work. Ignition works. Spin-a-majig works. Oh, does the horn work now? Damn it. Is that a clock? Next time I record, let me know if that works. So that'd be cool. I like watches. It's alive. Found the horn buried in the back. Fantastic. Fingers crossed. She's not turning real fast, so I'm gonna hook the charger up real quick to her. See if that helps her along. Positive. Negative. It's gonna be a little noisy, but alright. I'm hearing a little put, but let's see. Hey, we got a light on the dash. That's neat. Yeah. I don't think I'm getting any sparks still. let's give her just a little. I put a lot of oil down in there, and maybe I fouled up the plugs already. But let's go ahead and try the key again. It's nice and warm out today, so I don't really think it needs the choke, which is there. I don't know, it doesn't really work, so try it out again. Yeah, I don't think we got spark, guys. Back to the drawing board. Alright, so yeah, we weren't getting good spark. That coil's kind of testing funny, so I'm just going to take it out and bench test it. There's 2 bolts there. This guy right here, and those 2 holes right there, right there. So one of them, I think they may have both been captured, but oh yeah, see, I think one of these, yeah, see, the nut is either welded on there or rusted on there, which is fine. That one came out. This one here did not, and the nut was free spinning on the back, so I had to take this headlight bucket out and get some vice grips on it, which that did come out right there. So yeah, I think they were welded on at one point in time, and just life happened. New England rust happening. See, one of the a tight little coil with some metal in there too. So I'm going to replace all this hardware anyways. It'll just be through bolt. I'm not going to weld all that stuff back on. But if you're trying to take the coil off, go ahead and take this bucket out, and you can access those 2 nuts pretty easily. Not so bad. So yeah, I'm going to pop this off. We're going to bench test it. I'm not getting any like primary out of the main, the guy in the middle. It's ohming out fine across the primary and secondary, but I'm not getting any ohmage. It's just open through the main. So I'm going to diagnose that, and that's probably the issue. I don't know. I don't have a 6-volt coil either. I'll check with my uncle. He lives next door. He's got a bunch of old stuff, but if not, I'll go down to O'Reilly's and see what they got just for a random 6-volt. I might have one on the 54. I don't know. I had a couple engines that came with that had coils on it. Maybe they weren't converted to 12 volts, so maybe I'll try one of those. Will a 12-volt coil work in a 6-volt? Probably not. Alright, meet up with you later. Alright, so another fun little thing. If you're going to be resurrecting one of these, I got a better view of the valve train too. Still not too bad. Not too bad. Alright, anyways. There's like a little coolant crossover pipe. Leads around there. Because I was just doing a leak test on the radiator. Radiator's holding water, or did, until it didn't. Because of this guy here. So I assume that's a return line out of the head. Or no, that's a return line out of the block. And that's crosses over into this guy here. I think this was meant to be a drain as well. That goes around, down, flip the camera, down there, goes back of the block, and then ties back in. Not sure if you can see it, but another rubber hose to the other side of the block. So those hoses are going to look like that if this car sat any amount of time. So I'm going to pull this off, take it down to the auto parts store. I probably have this hose somewhere. I'll look for it first. And I say, I don't know if yeah, it might be I don't know, 7/8 hose, I'm gonna say. I'll measure it later though. I don't know if these are gonna be metric though. So is that 16 mil, 17 mil? We shall see. Might as well show you the underside of the car a little bit, as much as you can see. Not too bad. Definitely not too bad. She is currently straight piped. Alright. Dual exhaust. Kind of a performance. Yeah, get every little bit of that 1.1 milliliters So again, a lot of surface rust. Ugh, I don't want to think about the brakes yet. That's probably going to be an issue. I don't know. Well, it's pretty coated in oil. I'm going to have to repack those bearings. I know that. That'll be tomorrow's project. Probably pull that stuff off, see what those wheel bearings look like. I can find those. Rock Auto has them, oddly enough. So that's, and of course, they're just bearings. You can get them anywhere. But I'm glad no one's rallied this one and sent this into a curb or a rock or anything crazy. That's just aluminum. That is fin though, so that's nice. A little heat dissipation. I don't know where the oil filter is on this. I'm assuming it's a cartridge style and it sits right up in there. We'll end up bad, but we'll find out. Also got to figure out what the transmission takes for oil and where that dipstick is, if there is one, and see what that kind of looks like. And if it's, yeah, it must be shared gearbox transaxle business. But yeah, something to look out for. Any of these old cars, doesn't matter if it's a Chevy, a Saab, a Studebaker. Check all these rubber lines. I just put water in this, but pour coolant in there, you're gonna have a bad time. Later in the day, about ready to pack it up, I start looking around this thing, and earlier I'd said I thought this was an ashtray. I think this was an original radio car, because there was a spot in here cut out where you'd have that single speaker, and I'm like, what are these lines here for? And then it's oil, but there's your ashtray. Any butts in there? No. So, well, I guess I was right to assume that I'm just going to put a radio in there. I don't smoke, so maybe I'll get creative and put one of those USB plugs and wire it underneath so I can just do boop. Charge your phone or whatever on there. I don't know. We'll see. Check this out. It works. Yeah. A little jiggly because there's no weather stripping. Well, day one. Put 10 hours into her today. Did some cleaning. Pulled that dent out a little bit extra. I got the dents pretty well out of the little butt there. So that's neat. Whew, tired. Clean the windows. Just the outsides, I gotta do the insides, but it makes a huge difference. She's starting to look pretty good. I got the hood latch working, and the release in the cab, so it can actually latch down, and I don't have to worry about trying to pull it out. Needs a little bit more work. It's kind of popping up in the rear. The hinges are a little weird. There's a big brace right here that runs across that the hinges connect to, and it's got a lot of flex in it. I don't know what I'm going to do there. Maybe a little tack welds or something, but just to rigid it up so this actually folds down flat. But otherwise, it's actually sitting pretty well. This side's a bit proud, but yeah, see how she kind of rocks? I don't think it's supposed to do that. But it is sitting flush, and I can unlock it from the cab again. I got the headlights. I know I've probably said that 5 or 6 times, but she looks kind of goofy without the headlights. The headlights bring it all together. Yeah, adorable short little windshield. That's my favorite part of this car. Kind of, I don't know. It's like chop top without actually being chopped. But there she is. I don't know if you guys can get the scale. Well, you can get the scale a little bit with that 54 cab back there sitting on a frame. But it's just a folding chair. Kind of gives you a little perspective. Oh, something fell in the shop. It's just how tiny this poor thing is. I love it. But that's going to wrap up my first full day working on it. I cut a bunch of hose. I think I'd spoken about replacing all the rubber. There's a lot of rubber connections that are probably about 3 to 4 inches long for the cooling system all around the engine. So I replaced all of those. I did have a length of hose. Keep your hose. Gotta save your hose. This stuff's expensive. So you just hold on to it. You'll use it someday. And when you do have to go buy some, buy a couple extra feet. Because you will use it. But that will conclude for today. I'm going to go back at it tomorrow. I got I don't know if I told you guys, the coil tested bad. Crap, I probably should have talked about that first. Coil tested bad. There was no connection between the main and the primary, secondary windings. I think that's how you call it. There's no sparks coming out in the middle, the big one. All that, no sparks. There's also no continuity. So, you know how they're oil filled too, and you can shake them, put them up to your ear, shake them, you'll hear kind of sloshing? Nothing. It actually sounded like maraca. So that's probably no good. But I ordered one. Advanced Auto has them. I plugged this in to Advanced Auto and pulled one up. $26. $21.59 with the discount that they always give you because they're hurting for money. And pick it up on my way home. Bring it up tomorrow. And we'll see if we can get some spark. See if I was right. If not, I may even pick up a condenser. I don't know. We'll see. I like to live dangerously. Alright. Bye.